So if you ask an AI a question right now, it'll give you this highly confident, highly specific answer in, about 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Barely even 2 seconds sometimes.
Right. And it feels like magic. But it didn't just Google it. I mean, in the time it took you to blink, it ran this massive mathematical background check on millions of sources.
Yeah, judging everything from like factual density to their digital reputation.
Exactly. All to weave together a custom response for you. And the briefing document we are looking at today proves it is absolutely not magic. It's a machine following a very specific, almost ruthless set of rules.
And the crazy part is, those rules are largely hidden from the end user.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we just type in a prompt, we get a result, and for a long time, we've just accepted the answer.
Yeah, we don't ask why.
Right. We don't ask why the algorithm chose to pull a statistic from, some obscure journal instead of a major news outlet that's sitting right next to it.
Which is exactly what we are getting into today. Welcome to our deep dive. Our mission for you today is to uncover the black box of artificial intelligence citations.
It is a fascinating black box to open, too.
It really is. So when you sit down and ask an AI system a question, whether that is ChatGPT or Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, or Google AI overviews, how exactly does it decide which sources to reference?
And this is incredibly relevant for you listening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if you're a business owner or a researcher or just someone trying to get your ideas noticed out there, understanding this mechanism is absolutely crucial.
Totally.
Because an AI does not search the internet the way a traditional search engine does. That whole era of just stuffing keywords onto a web page and hoping for the best, that's completely over.
Okay, let's unpack this. If the AI isn't just crawling a list of blue links and serving them up to you, where is it actually pulling its answers from? I mean, if it's not a search engine, how does it physically access the info it gives you?
Well, to understand what an AI chooses to cite, we first have to understand the pathways it uses to get that info. And according to our sources, we are dealing with two very distinct pathways.
Okay, two pathways. What's the first one?
The first is what engineers call training data, or parametric memory.
Parametric memory, that's like the information baked directly into the model's neural network. Correct?
Precisely. So during its training phase, the AI digests just massive amounts of text. But it doesn't save that text like a file on a hard drive.
Right, it's not a database.
Exactly, no. It learns the statistical relationships between words and concepts. It's adjusting its internal mathematical weights, and systems like ChatGPT and Claude, well, historically, they've relied heavily on this pathway.
So the info just becomes part of their foundational understanding of the world.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's the second pathway, which the briefing calls live retrieval, or, what the industry often refers to as retrieval augmented generation, RAG.
RAG, right. I've heard that acronym thrown around a lot.
Yeah, it's huge right now. Yeah. This is when the AI accesses the live internet at the exact moment you ask your query.
So it's actively looking stuff up?
Yes. Systems like Perplexity and Google AI Overviews, they actively go out, retrieve live web pages, pull that text back into their context window, and cite it on the spot.
Okay, wait. ChatGPT and Claude do that now too, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
They use browsing tools to do this now as well.
Uh-huh.
But live retrieval is really the absolute core mechanism for those search-focused systems like Perplexity.
Okay, I think I get it. So training data is sort of like a student answering a question from memory based on all the textbooks they've read over the years.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
And then live retrieval is like an open book test where they can just look up fresh information right now.
Exactly.
But wait, if a lot of this is just memory, that first pathway, how does a new source or a newly launched business ensure they actually get embedded in that memory? I mean, you can't just casually slip a new textbook into the student's brain after the test has started.
Well, taking that open book analogy a bit further, the student doesn't just read the book. They evaluate the publisher, the layout, the density of the facts, all before deciding to quote it.
Oh, interesting. So they're judging the book itself.
Right. The AI isn't absorbing information randomly. It is trained to look for very specific signals. So to satisfy both of these pathways, whether that's shifting the mathematical weights in the memory or being pulled during a live search, a source has to meet strict criteria.
It's not just about being on the internet?
No, not at all. It's about how you format your existence on the internet.
Okay, so knowing that the AI uses both its internal memory and live web tools, let's look at the actual anatomy of a citable source. The briefing breaks down 5 key characteristics, right?
Yeah, 5 core traits.
And it starts with structural clarity. So the sources mention clear headings, concise definitions, well-organized content. But, I mean, anyone familiar with basic SEO knows about headings. Why is this so much more critical for an AI?
It really comes down to how an AI physically reads. We have to remember that large language models, they parse text mathematically. It's a process called tokenization.
Right. They break words down into numbers, basically.
Exactly. When an AI crawler hits a web page, it relies on semantic HTML tags like H1 and H2 headers or bulleted lists.
Yeah.
It uses those as mathematical weights.
Wait, really? So an H2 tag is just a math equation to the bot?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
An H2 tag literally tells the model's attention mechanism, hey, apply a higher mathematical weight to the tokens that immediately follow this.
Oh, wow. So it's less like a human reader and more like, I don't know, a city planner?
A city planner. I like that.
Yeah, like if you don't put up clear street signs, those H1 and H2 headers, the AI's crawler just gets lost in your massive text block. It can't map the neighborhood, so it just leaves.
That is exactly what happens. If it leaves, well, you don't get cited.
Ouch.
Yeah. Poor formatting literally makes it computationally harder and therefore more expensive for the machine to extract the facts.
Ah, so it's a cost thing, too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If the algorithm has to choose between a structurally clean page and this dense, unstructured PDF, it will pull from the clean page every single time, simply because the extraction confidence is higher.
Okay, so formatting helps the machine physically read the text. But once it actually reads it, how does it evaluate the actual idea? I mean, if two perfectly structured sites say opposite things, how does the AI decide which one is the authority?
And that brings us to the second and third characteristics, which are topical authority and factual specificity.
Okay, let's break those down. Let's look at topical authority first.
So topical authority basically means a source consistently publishes around a specific subject area. In the AI's vector space, which is like this multi-dimensional map where it stores concepts nodes that frequently appear together, they cluster together.
Okay, let me make sure I'm tracking. So if I consistently write about fixing sinks, my digital presence clusters tightly around plumbing concepts in the AI's map.
Yes, exactly. And factual specificity is the anchor for that cluster. Well, AI models vastly prefer pages that contain concrete data points, named entities, specific claims. They need concrete nouns and hard numbers because those create much stronger semantic relationships than, filler adjectives.
Let me push back on this a little, though.
Go for it.
If the AI loves hard facts and data so much, does that mean thought leadership or, like, opinion pieces are basically invisible? Because a lot of valuable human writing is subjective or philosophical or theoretical. Does the algorithm just ignore all of that?
Well, it doesn't ignore it entirely, but it definitely struggles to cite it unless it's grounded in data.
Grounded in data.
Yeah, the AI needs facts to synthesize answers. It uses them as the structural beams of its response. So vague marketing speak or purely abstract thought leadership, it just doesn't give the AI any building blocks.
It wants the bricks, not the smoke.
Perfect way to say it.
Yeah.
If you write an opinion piece, but you anchor it with specific statistics, named case studies, concrete examples, the AI can extract those facts and attribute them to your broader opinion.
Yeah. Okay, I see. So saying we are the leading provider of software is mathematically useless. It's entirely subjective.
Completely useless.
But saying our software processed 2.4 million transactions for 500 retail stores in 2025, that gives the AI an actual data point to grasp.
Right. It creates a dense semantic vector. The AI can pull the number 2.4 million, attach it to your brand, and actually use it to answer a query.
Which leads right into the fourth characteristic, source reputation. The briefing notes that well-known publications, industry bodies, established businesses, they naturally carry more weight. I assume this is a compounding effect in the training data.
Oh, a massive compounding effect. Think about it. If a major medical journal is cited by 10,000 other websites, the AI encounters that journal's tokens repeatedly during its training phase.
So the math just gets stronger.
Exactly. The mathematical weights associated with that journal become incredibly strong. When the AI generates a response, the statistical probability of it leaning on that high weight source is vastly higher than, say, some lesser-known blog.
It's the whole rich get richer dynamic of the digital world.
Unfortunately, yes.
And the fifth characteristic is recency and freshness, which obviously plays heavily into the live retrieval systems we discussed earlier.
The open book test, yeah. If you ask Perplexity for the latest supply chain disruptions, it is going to heavily bias its retrieval toward content that was published in the last 24 hours.
So recency acts as a multiplier on top of the other four traits?
Exactly. It's a huge boost.
Okay, so structurally clear, highly specific, topically focused, reputable, and fresh. That explains what the AI is looking for in a piece of text. But there is a missing link here for me.
What's that?
If I write the most beautifully structured, factually dense article in the world, how does the AI know it was actually me who wrote it? How does it connect that great piece of content to my specific business or my personal brand?
And that is the core challenge of modern AI search. It revolves entirely around a concept called entity recognition.
Entities.
Yeah. AI systems don't see the internet as a collection of loose URLs. They build internal representations of entities. An entity is a distinct concept, a business, a person, a place, or an idea.
Right, and anyone working in digital strategy knows the concept of entities. We know Google uses knowledge graphs. But what this briefing really highlights is how incredibly fragile an entity is to a machine compared to a human.
It is entirely fragile. I mean, a human uses context effortlessly, right?
Yeah.
An AI requires rigorous, redundant mathematical signals to confidently define an entity.
So it needs proof
Uh,
over and over.
Yes. When an AI processes information, it tries to map that information back to a specific entity coordinate in its internal database.
Okay, let's test that fragility. Say my business is named Apple, but I don't sell computers. I sell actual literal fruit, apples.
Okay, a fruit farm.
Right. So a human looking at my website sees a picture of a tractor and instantly understands, oh, this is a farm. But to an AI, if my entity signal across the web isn't perfectly consistent, does my coordinate drift? Might it think I'm a tech company with a bizarre new agricultural product line?
That is hilarious. But yes, you are describing the exact problem engineers called disambiguation.
Disambiguation.
Yeah. If your signals are mixed, the vector drifts. The AI maps the token Apple and initially leans toward the tech giant simply because of the massive historical weight we just talked about.
It's lazy. It goes with the heaviest weight.
Exactly. So to pull the AI away from that assumption, to force it to recognize your fruit farm as a distinct, separate entity, you need overwhelming consistency.
Because if the signals are muddy, the AI just defaults to the highest probability, which is the tech company.
Precisely. Consistency across multiple platforms is what solidifies your entity's identity in the model.
So it's not just your website.
No, it's everywhere. If your business name, your precise physical address, your specific descriptions, your topical associations, if they are identical on your website, on social media, on local registries and press releases.
It all feeds back.
Yes. All of those separate data points feed back into a single node. You are essentially building a mathematical fence around your concept. It separates you from the noise and creates a really strong entity signal.
It's corroboration. The AI is cross-referencing everything to calculate a confidence score about who you are.
Exactly.
Which naturally brings us to how people accidentally sabotage that exact confidence score. Because the briefing highlights 4 active red flags that will cause an AI to completely ignore a source. And the first one is thin content.
Oh, thin content. Yes. But thin content in the AI era doesn't just mean a short word count.
Right. It's not about length.
Exactly. It means restating what others have already said without adding any net new information to the ecosystem.
So no more copying someone else's homework and just changing the adjectives.
No, that won't work anymore.
But mechanically, how does the AI spot the copied homework so fast?
Through mathematical redundancy. So models use processes similar to cosine similarity to compare texts.
Cosine similarity.
Yeah, it's a way of measuring how close two vectors are. If the AI evaluates your new article about software trends, and the vector representation of your article is a 99% match to a Wikipedia page it already digested during training, your page is computationally useless.
Wow. It just throws it out.
Yep. It offers 0 new tokens of value. The algorithm drops it because it adds no new knowledge to the vector space.
So the rule is don't be an echo. You have to provide novel data.
Right.
And if you do have novel data, but you commit the second mistake, which is poor structure, the AI can't even extract the new information anyway.
Exactly. You hit the wall of structural opacity.
Structural opacity, that's a great term.
Yeah, if your highly original research is buried in this unformatted block of text with no semantic tags, the crawler's extraction confidence just plummets.
And it leaves.
It moves right onto a competitor's page that uses bullet points even if their data is slightly less original.
Man. So the machine prefers a mediocre, well-lit street over a brilliant idea down a dark alley.
It really does. It is a brutal reality of how these systems scale. They optimize for extraction speed, pure and simple.
That makes sense. Okay, and the third mistake actively starves the entity signal we discussed earlier, and that is a lack of presence.
Right. Meaning you can't just build a pristine website and expect the AI to trust it without outside validation.
You can't be a ghost everywhere else.
Exactly. If the only place the AI ever sees your business mentioned is on your own domain, it lacks that cross-referenced corroboration. Its confidence score that you're a prominent entity remains incredibly low.
It needs to see you out in the wild.
It needs to see your precise entity footprint on industry forums, in news articles, on LinkedIn, or in academic citations. Ghosting those platforms just starves the AI's knowledge graph of the data it needs to establish your node.
Which makes the fourth mistake the ultimate entity killer, and that is inconsistent naming or descriptions.
Oh, this is a big one. Using different names, varying addresses, or contradictory descriptions of what you do across different digital platforms.
I can completely see how that destroys the math. I mean, if my website says I'm a financial consulting firm, but an old social media profile from 5 years ago says I'm a wealth guru, and my local directory listing just says accounting.
It's a mess.
Right. To a human, we connect the dots through common sense. We know it's the same person. But to the AI, you aren't providing one cohesive signal.
No, to the AI, you are accidentally creating 3 weak, separate entity coordinates instead of one dense, powerful one. You are fragmenting the AI's understanding.
Because it's just looking for patterns.
Exactly. It looks for patterns, and inconsistency breaks the pattern. When the pattern breaks, the AI's confidence drops, and it simply chooses to cite another source whose data is more cohesive.
That is a massive trap for businesses that pivot or rebrand or, just forget to update their legacy profiles. You are leaving this trail of broken patterns across the internet, and the algorithm is penalizing you for it in real time.
Yes. It always defaults to the path of highest mathematical confidence. If your digital footprint is fragmented, you represent a computational risk.
A computational risk. Wow, this completely changes the perspective on what digital visibility actually means right now. We started by looking at a black box, but the mechanics inside are actually deeply logical.
Very logical.
It's not magic at all. It's probability, vector spaces, and extraction confidence.
And the entities that understand those mechanics are the ones rewriting the rules of digital authority right now.
So the practical takeaway for you listening is crystal clear. If you want your business, your research, or your ideas cited by the tools everyone is using, you must focus on creating structurally clear, topically focused content.
Absolutely.
You have to make specific, factual claims, provide the concrete nouns and data points the AI needs to build its answers. You really cannot afford to just be an echo.
No, and you must maintain a rigorously consistent presence across multiple credible platforms. You have to build that dense entity signal so the algorithm mathematically knows exactly who you are and trusts you enough to cite you.
You have to put up the street signs so the city planner doesn't get lost.
Love that analogy.
But, as we wrap up, there is a broader implication here that I just keep coming back to.
What's that?
Well, we've spent this entire deep dive discussing how to format our knowledge, our writing, our digital identities, all specifically so that a machine can parse them more efficiently.
We are adapting our output to match the constraints of the algorithm.
Right. And if AI systems increasingly reward these structurally clear, mathematically dense, heavily formatted bullet points and actively punish flowery, unstructured human rambling, are we moving toward a future where the entire internet is formatted primarily for machines to read rather than for humans to enjoy?
That is a very real possibility.
If the only way to be seen is to write for the crawler, how long until human idiosyncrasy is just, optimized away entirely?
We are training the models, but the models are undoubtedly training us in return.
The librarian isn't just fetching the books anymore. The librarian is telling us exactly how the books must be written if we ever want them pulled off the shelf.
That's a sobering thought.
Something to really think about. Until next time.